This is exactly right.
Get into the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event and get away with a deal so right, it almost feels wrong.
Right now, you can get great deals on Hyundai's most popular models,
including the adventure-ready SUVs like the Hyundai Santa Fe or Santa Fe Hybrid and the Tucson or Tucson Hybrid.
Plus, there's the bold and stylish Elantra loaded with the latest tech.
Or go all-electric with the Ioniq 5 or the Ioniq 9.
So get down to your local Hyundai dealer and get away with a deal you'll love during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Visit HyundaiUSA.com for details.
Goodbye. Capture your favorite summer feeling with Pandora Jewelry.
Discover a collection inspired by the sunshine, freedom, and moments that make the season unforgettable.
From sun-kissed metals to personalized pieces ready to be engraved with your summer mantra.
Each design moves with you from beach days to golden nights and every memory in between.
Shop Pandora Jewelry's new summer collection in-store or online at pandora.net and let your summer unfold. Goodbye.
This episode is supported by FX's The Shards, a seductive drama from executive producer Ryan Murphy.
Set in 1980s Los Angeles, the series follows a group of glamorous, deeply entangled high school seniors drawn into a life of wealth, beauty, parties, and excess.
At its center is Brett, whose reality begins to unravel when the arrival of a new student coincides with a series of mysterious murders. FX's The Shards, now streaming on Hulu.
Goodbye.
And welcome
to My Favorite Murder.
That's Georgia Hardstar.
That's Karen Kilgariff.
And we have a secret to share.
We've had a secret for like 6 years to share.
But now we're going to say it.
And say it out loud at the same time. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
We're going on tour.
We said the same thing. Yay.
We're going on tour. We didn't even have to look at our lines.
No.
You've been asking for years and years. It's finally happening. It's a very small tour.
Yeah, we're going on. Oh my God, you guys don't even understand that we've been planning this since before the pandemic, and then the pandemic happened, so we couldn't do it.
Since 2018 or 19 is the last time we were on the road.
Yeah, we've changed a lot.
And so has the biz.
The biz has changed. We've changed.
So we're doing like, you could call this a mini tour.
Yes.
We're sticking our toe back into the touring pond.
Right. And we hope you'll come.
You know what this makes me think of is like when and we've talked about this a lot, but when we were first on the road, like I wouldn't have my story ready. I would be truly writing my story in my hotel room.
Yep.
No researchers, no support whatsoever, just in my hotel room being like putting something together and hoping it all worked out.
Yep, that and then to the last minute when if you don't start putting makeup on right now, you won't have any makeup on.
Yes.
And then eat something too.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't do that by then because your story's not finished, it doesn't matter. You're going to come out with fucking wet hair.
Yes.
And no makeup.
Which has happened.
Yeah. So this time it does feel like we're going to have our stories done ahead of time. We're going to have help from our lovely researchers.
We have the experience of what we don't want anymore, so we can actually communicate what we do want.
Right. And we're not going to 800 cities, so we can kind of explore the city we're in too. So all of you that are mad that we're not going to Wichita, just please understand that it's for our mental health sake and our brain's sake. And you can come to Chicago. We can't wait to see you in Chicago.
And also, we can't start all the way back like we used to because that's the olden days.
Yeah.
So we have to do mini versions and then see what happens.
Yeah.
So it's all about like, is the business there to be done?
Totally.
And we go from there.
I mean, I'm a little nervous. Like, we used to sell out within fucking moments.
Please, Jesus. You know what I would like to say too? If I had a dream of one audience member that we could see again that would come back. Mm-hmm. And I've talked about him a lot over the years. It's my full-length coat, St. Louis. I believe I think he did have a fan.
He had a fan in the front row.
And this was like 2018, 2017. I
remember him.
Early days.
Yeah.
Fan, full beard from what I remember.
Yes.
Full-length coat.
Yeah.
And truly was acting like he was in church, praise church, basically.
Or he went to the wrong place. He thought this was church. He had I think he had a boa constrictor. Nope. He did not have a boa constrictor on.
He had a cockatiel on his shoulder.
I think he had a boa on.
Yes.
And lots of glitter.
Yes.
And it was just very wonderful front row.
Front row there to support us, not to be like, what are you going to give me? He was like, I'm here to absolutely give you everything.
Yeah, we're excited for this fan cult. Like, we just made sure that we took care of you as best as we could. We know you guys want tickets to live shows, and that's why some people joined.
And the drama of people not getting tickets in the past, we're like, how do we do this so that nobody's upset?
Yeah.
So hopefully that works.
Yeah, this is all like an experiment, so.
Yeah. If you're the person with the fan, we're not coming to St. Louis. How are we going to see you? Let's figure this out.
Yeah, we'll get you there.
Okay, so here's the tour. These are the cities. Here's where we're coming. Just a couple, just a handful.
That's
Get ready.
So on this mini tour, we're starting off on September 3rd and 4th in beautiful Denver, Colorado at the Paramount Theater.
Nice. And then on September 10th and 11th, we will be in Austin, Texas at the Bass Concert Hall.
And then on September 20th, we'll be in Boston, Mass at Bach Center Wang Theater. And that'll be 2 shows, same day, early show, late show, September 20th.
Great. And then Salt Lake City, Utah, September 26th and 27th at the Eccles Theater.
And then we'll be in Oakland, California at the Paramount Theater on October 2nd and 3rd.
And then on October 7th and 8th, we're at the San Diego Civic Theater.
And October 12th, we'll do 2 shows, an early late show at Arlene Schnitzer Concert Hall in beautiful Portland, Oregon.
The Schnitz. And then we're going to go to Seattle, Washington to play their Paramount Theater on October 21st and 22nd.
And then we're back home in LA on October 28th to do an early show and a late show at the Pasadena Civic Auditorium.
That's going to be amazing.
I know.
I'm very excited. Okay, then after that, we're going back out on November 5th to go back to the city where it all began, the first live show ever, Chicago, Illinois. But this time, we're playing the Chicago Theater.
Huge. And then we'll wrap it up with 2 shows on November 15th. We're back in Brooklyn at the King's Theater. And that's the tour.
So here's what you need to know. The fan cult will have first access to these tickets. We have gone in and asked them to free up as many pre-sale tickets for the fan cult as humanly possible so that basically the real ones who have been waiting for 6 years can get a chance to get a ticket.
That's right. And so that fan cult pre-sale will begin Friday, July 11th. So if you're listening to this episode right now on Thursday, tomorrow at 10 a.m. in the city where the show is, where your local time, if you're in that city, Friday, July 11th is when fan cult pre-sale goes up.
That's right. And then basically the artist pre-sale starts Monday, July 14th at 10 a.m. in the city where the show takes place.
So you'll have all weekend fan cult to get your ticket until it sells out in the fan cult. And then you'll have another chance on Monday. And then everything else that's available is going to go up on Tuesday, July 15th. Again, 10 a.m. where the show takes place. Anything left over that the fan cult and the pre-sale didn't sell.
Now, just so you know, you can still join the fan cult if you're hearing all of this and this sounds exciting and you want to be a part of it. You can still join the fan cult to get in on that pre-sale access. You just have to do it kind of quickly so we can send you that unique code to get you into the fan cult pre-sale.
Lots of odds and ends. Go to myfavoritemurder.com/live. We finally have something to put on that site for all the information you need and for ticket links. And other Exactly Right media news.
Is there other news?
Always.
Could there be? Yes, we have a network. And so we're telling you about what's going on Exactly Right this week. Like, for example, over on The Knife, Hannah and Paisha tell the story of Tennyson and Kyle Jacobson, whose lives were shaken by not one, but 2 targeted home invasions. So Tennyson shares her story and the long road to healing that followed. And actually, this was a listener hometown that was one of the first minisodes we ever did. Minisode 19,
Wow.
we talk about this hometown.
Incredible. Over on Ghosted, Roz is celebrating her 100th episode on Exactly Right with the incredible Dwayne Perkins. They dive into spooky Midwest lore, including the White Lady of Bachelor's Grove Cemetery and the Tuttle Bottoms Monster.
Is that real?
That's cute.
Could it be real? And on I Said No Gifts, Bridger isn't totally horrified when Beck Bennett of SNL fame shows up and gives him a gift. Those two talk about Costco IDs and John Cougar Mellencamp, all the important things of podcasting.
Love it. And then finally, National Hot Dog Day is coming up. We told you guys to tag us in hot dog stuff for this true crime comedy podcast.
Yeah, we thought we would really make a meal of focusing on something other than the decline of all of democracy. And we thought maybe just going micro on hot dogs would help.
Yeah, so hashtag my favorite hot dog was born. And you guys, you really delivered.
This is going to continue on.
Okay.
But let's first just take a look at how people first responded when we were like, my favorite hot dog.
Okay.
Let's see some pictures.
Okay. Oh my God, hot dog nail art. That's brilliant.
And then you'll like it even more because her finger tattoos say cat lady.
Oh my God.
Like she's holding up the
cat lady is so good.
Cat lady with hot dog. I mean, it's like, is that you? Is that you getting a manicure?
And that's Laura_Obsidian Nails.
Oh, she's plugging her own nail place.
Good for her.
Very smart.
Get in there.
You can get hot dog nails. Okay, this next one I love. It's from @MeganLyon on Instagram. And those are hot dog deviled eggs.
Yes, they are. And that's brilliant. Like 2 of my favorite party snacks.
Very fun.
Wow.
Okay, this is hilarious. The caption says, please take a look at the hot dog eating contest / beauty pageant that some friends of mine put on in Philly a few weeks ago. I'm chuffed to admit I was crowned Miss Glizzy 2025.
That crown has a hot dog on it, and I am in need of that.
These people that submitted this are @YoungMoney and @SloppySeconds_Philly. So
that matches.
These are our friends in Philadelphia.
Hell yeah, you guys.
It's a beauty contest.
I love it.
Hot dog eating contest.
That's great.
Yeah.
Get those nails in there.
Right?
And then, this place is called Wienerlicious. I was just in Mackinac City, Michigan.
No.
And I didn't see this somehow.
Are you being serious?
I swear, Vince and I went to Mackinac Island and hung out in Mackinac City.
Oh, that's cool.
And I missed the giant hot dog on top of a hot dog place.
You missed a 50-foot hot dog on a roof.
So Michigan
gets it.
Yeah, way to show up and show out.
I'm not surprised at all.
And this photo came from DawnChaser_ on Instagram.
This one is a great story. After a rowdy night of chugging Bud Light Premium and UV Blue, I don't know what that is, and making bad decisions, I decided to make the right decision and pass out with my trusty, rusty hot dog and bottled water. This photo has become legend and is still brought up way too often 13 years later.
Yeah.
This is from Emmert Famgram.
That's a great thing to just keep sending your friend, like on her wedding day,
Yes.
when she's like becomes the parent or whatever. Send her this photo of her sleeping on the floor with a hot dog in her hand.
Also, the other friend that's pretending to come and eat like yin and yang of hot dog eating is hilarious. Oh, this is the last one.
Okay.
Read that one because you're going to love this.
Okay. This one's a bunch of people in uniforms eating corn dogs, and the subject line is corn dog royalty. Hello, ladies. This is my time to shine. My grandfather used to run one of the largest corn dog factories in the Midwest.
Yes.
They made lots of frozen foods, but the corn dogs were king. Featured in this photo is my mom, dad, and grandpa at the factory doing a taste test. Yes. I guess you could say I'm literally corn dog royalty.
Corn dog royalty.
Much love, Taylor. Incredible.
Taylor, amazing job. I mean, there's so many ways to participate in this.
Yeah. And you have till the 16th, which is National Hot Dog Day. So just tag us, hashtag my favorite hot dog.
Yeah, we'll just keep talking about it. I feel like you have until December 25th and further. It's never not
Christmas?
relevant, right?
Yeah. What's going to usurp Hot Dog Day?
I mean, once we get past summertime Hot Dog Day, it's like, well, how do we attack Hot Dog Day for fall?
It's cold. Where's my... It's autumn. It's autumnal. Where's my autumnal hot dog?
Where is my jacket that looks like a bun when I wear all rust-colored red?
And you zip it all the way up.
With a yellow zipper.
Yes.
We'll keep doing it. We'll keep going.
Okay.
Oh, well then I think we can actually literally button this topic by telling everybody, that's right, you can get a My Favorite Murder hot dog pin.
Yeah.
Pretty legendary.
We have hot dog merch, because of course we do.
Yeah. If you like the t-shirt we made, you can now get a pin.
You can get that at exactlyrightstore.com, and it's designed by Sammy Rich, our friend.
Put that on your hot dog apron. I mean, between hot dogs and touring, I don't know.
I don't have anything else.
What more can we give the people?
Truly.
True crime?
Sure.
Okay. In the spirit of true crime, this is one of the most, I would say, classic kind of known American true crime cases that we have that we've never covered, which is super weird.
Yeah.
This story takes place between January 21st and January 29th of 1958. And in those 8 days, 10 people were brutally murdered. By the time the police took these killers into custody, the rapt and terrified public had been hanging on to every word in the increasingly frenzied press coverage. This case struck such an immediate nerve, not just because of the sheer violence of these murders, but because of who the killers were. Sadly, these days, we're used to hearing about teenagers committing acts of violence, but in the 1950s, it was almost unthinkable. And since then, this case has inspired countless documentaries, movies, music, including Terrence Malick's classic movie Badlands, Quentin Tarantino's script for Natural Born Killers, which was directed by Oliver Stone, and, of course, the titular song from Bruce Springsteen's album, Nebraska. Today, I'm going to tell you about the notorious mid-century crime spree of Midwestern teens, Charles Starkweather and Caril Ann Fugate.
All right.
Infamous.
Yes.
So the main sources that Marin used are the book Starkweather, The Untold Story of the Killing Spree That Changed America by Harry N. McLean, and the book Starkweather, A Story of Mass Murder on the Great Plains by Jeff O'Donnell. And the rest of the sources are in our show notes. So Charles Starkweather is born in Lincoln, Nebraska in 1938. He's the third of 7 children. His family struggles financially, but unlike many of the murders we've covered on this show, Charlie actually has a good relationship with his parents and his siblings. And over the years, as people try to figure out the why of this basically murder spree, many people say it's because Charlie was bullied as a child. Of course, doesn't justify anything, but it is true that he was bullied. He is a redhead. He's much shorter than the boys his age. He's bow-legged. He has a lisp. He's nearsighted, so he has very thick glasses.
Didn't stand a chance back in the 50s.
I mean, there's no kindness campaigns that your junior high is like putting into the hallway in the least. He is teased and bullied relentlessly. But like many people that kind of go through something like this, by the time he's in junior high, he starts standing up to his bullies. His dad tells him basically not to take other people's shit. The problem is that Charlie seems to take this way too far, because once he starts fighting back, he seems to enjoy beating up other kids, and he always plays dirty. He's the type who keeps on kicking someone even when they're already down.
Yikes.
He also develops an obsession with the movie star James Dean. So if you've never seen the movie Rebel Without a Cause, have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
James Dean looks like an alien from the future in that movie, whereas everybody else is very like 50s and kind of, you know, that kind of acting.
Button up and...
Yeah. And very kind of like, what do you mean, father? Or whatever. James Dean comes in and it's like he's from now, going back in time.
Yeah. It's incredible.
It's incredible. My Aunt Kathleen, God rest her soul, she was one of the coolest aunts of all time, but she made sure to show us things that she loved like that.
Oh, I love that.
So she sat us all down when we were like in junior high and was like, you have to watch this movie.
Amazing.
So then we had posters of James Dean in our room and we're all about it.
Cute.
So it makes sense. That kind of why he would go, that's who I'm going to be and that's what I'm going to act like that.
Yeah.
So, of course, Charlie Starkweather starts smoking because James Dean smokes. He walks and talks like James Dean. He wants people to see him as this kind of like rebellious bad boy. And of course, usually that means girls.
Right.
So in 1956, when Charlie's 17 years old, he gets to go on a double date with his friend and his friend's girlfriend and his friend's girlfriend's younger sister. That younger sister's name is Caril Ann Fugate, and she is, brace yourself, 12 years old.
Insane.
So Caril's family also lives in Lincoln, but her early life is very difficult and unstable. It's kind of awful. She grows up very poor. Her family moves around a lot. And then when she's slightly older, her father gets sent to prison after being convicted on multiple pedophilia charges.
Oh, dear.
So she has a very difficult early childhood. She does not do well in school. She struggles to develop close friendships, and she develops a tough outer shell because of that. When she's around 10 years old, her mom, Velda, remarries a man named Marion Bartlett. And by all accounts, this man is a decent guy, a World War II vet who doesn't drink. He becomes a stable father figure for Caril and for her siblings. And soon after they get married, her mom and her new stepdad have a baby together named Betty Ann, and Caril loves this baby. So Caril keeps her biological father's last name Fugate, but for the rest of this story, I will call them the Bartlett family. So basically, Caril's childhood is finally stabilizing. She starts making friends at school, her grades go up, and then she goes on the double date with her older sister and is introduced to Charles Starkweather. Of course, Caril's drawn in by this bad boy reputation that he has. And as all bad boys do, he makes her feel like the most important girl in the world. he probably doesn't have to do much. She's 12 years old.
Right.
As impressionable as you possibly can be.
And she probably loves James Dean too. So she's like, great.
Like, yes, he's here.
Yes.
I remember one of the graduation parties we went to in this graduation party summer. I watched across the yard as basically a 12-year-old girl was in a group with this boy who's 17, who's like the family's who's having the party. Mm-hmm. And this little girl did everything she could to get his attention, including like hitting him and blah, 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 and this and whatever. And I was just sitting at this table being like, there's nothing you can do about being that age. And there's nothing you can do about that phase of that age.
Yeah.
Where you just are like, I love him.
Yeah.
I need him to look at me again.
Yes, I hate it.
It's so humiliating.
I hate it.
And we all do it.
We all did it.
We all do it.
Yeah.
So it's especially painful to think about her being in this situation. And then what's the truth of this situation? Because we actually don't know really to this day what the real truth of the situation was.
I have my opinions about it for sure.
Ooh.
But
well, let's hash it out. So everything changes after this double date. Obviously, she's on top of the world, but Charlie's bad boy reputation is because he's a bad boy. So right after this double date, he finds out Caril has a crush on another boy. So Charlie goes and threatens to kill that boy unless he stops talking to Caril.
Jesus.
This boy's a 7th grader who's like, I'll never talk to her. What are you talking about?
Oh, my God.
And I'm not invested in this.
Yeah.
So, of course, Caril's parents hate Charlie Starkweather. Her stepfather, Marion, in particular, he is not polite or shy about that fact. They don't want to push Caril away. They know she's going to do whatever she wants to do. So Velma and Marion have to put up with this annoying, rude James Dean fanatic just kind of hanging around their 12-year-old daughter all the time.
Ugh, Jesus, I couldn't.
And also these days, I think we know that behavior, like everything is seen through such a different lens.
It's predatory now. We know that.
Yeah.
Not now, but we now know that it's predatory.
Right. And we now know that girls shouldn't maybe get married when they're 15 years old just because that's kind of what everyone is doing.
Right.
So it's December, it's 1957. Charlie and Caril have been dating for about a year and a half. So Caril's now 14 and Charlie's 19. He's still obsessive about her. So it's the holidays, and one afternoon, Charlie goes out shopping for presents, and he stops at a gas station in Lincoln, and it's one he hangs out at from time to time. He sees a stuffed dog for sale at this gas station, and he wants to buy it for Caril. He doesn't have the money, so he asks the gas station attendant if he can put it on credit. The attendant that day is a 21-year-old man named Robert Colvert, and he says no, he can only take cash. Mm-hmm. So Charlie's forced to leave empty-handed. And of course, he's furious. He's so furious that for the rest of the night, he keeps coming back to the gas station over and over. The first time he buys something small, he leaves again, he comes back, he buys something else. The whole time, the anger is building. Mm-hmm. And in the last round of this, Charlie comes back to the gas station with a gun and he turns it on the cashier. He demands money from the till and then he kidnaps Robert, the cashier. He drives him out to the middle of nowhere and he shoots him in the head multiple times and then dumps the body.
Jesus.
So the body's discovered just a few hours later, but for some reason, the police immediately assume a transient is responsible for this murder.
Right.
So it's the kind of thing of like, it can't happen in our town.
Right.
So for the next several days, a normally broke Charlie suddenly is flush with cash. He's spending most of it on Caril. And at the same time, he is taking steps to cover up his crime. So he reads a lot of true crime and detective magazines. Mm-hmm. He knows that he should paint his truck a different color in case any eyewitnesses saw it at the gas station that night. He changes his tires, so in case they take tire tracks from, he does everything he can to cover it up. But basically, he has now crossed a line that he can never come back from. Mm-hmm. This is robbery, kidnapping, murder, all in one move.
That's big.
Yeah. So by late January of 1958, which is weeks after the murder of Robert Colvert, Charlie begins to unravel. He gets fired from his job as a garbage man because of his laziness. He can't make rent, so he gets kicked out of his apartment. Now he's sleeping in his car. Meanwhile, Caril's parents, Velda and Marion Bartlett, have had enough of Charles Starkweather. There's a rumor circulating around town that Charlie got Caril pregnant it's not true. But of course, it insinuates that Caril is having sex with Charlie and she's 14 years old. What is true, though, is Charlie has begun basically stalking Caril. The Bartletts have been told Charlie waits around for Caril after school and that he's been seen forcefully pulling her off the school bus in front of other students. This freaks Caril out so much. It kind of tells us she doesn't want to go with him.
Yeah.
If this was like the boyfriend, like I'm jumping in the back of his car and pulling out, that's great.
He doesn't have to pull you out of the bus if you go willingly.
Yes.
So you're probably not a willing participant in this.
You're sneaking onto the bus so that your boyfriend doesn't see you or so that guy doesn't see you.
Right.
So she's so freaked out by this that she starts hiding in the girls' bathroom after the end of day bell rings just so she doesn't have to go outside. So when her parents hear about all of that, they tell Charlie to stay away from their daughter. And then on Tuesday, January 21st, Charlie goes over to the Bartlett home to talk to them, presumably about this relationship with Caril. There's a lot of unknowns here, mostly because everything is what either Charlie said or what Caril said after the fact.
Right.
And it's hard to know who to trust. It's he said, she said. But essentially what we do know is that Charlie shows up at the Bartlett's home around 1 o'clock and he's got a gun. And soon after he arrives, he gets into an argument with the Bartletts who tell him he can't date Caril anymore. They kick him out of the house. He comes back at 3 p.m. and he shoots 36-year-old Velda Bartlett and her husband, 57-year-old Marion Bartlett, before committing one of the most disturbing murders in this story. He murders Caril's 2-year-old sister, Betty Ann. It's very upsetting. He then hides the 3 bodies in a chicken coop and also in an old outhouse on the property. So we don't know where Caril is when these murders occur. But her story is that when she gets home from school around 3:30, that's 30 minutes after the murders, she's shocked to find Charlie there.
Yeah.
And she says that Charlie tells her he's holding her family hostage somewhere and he promises he won't hurt them as long as she goes with him and does what he says. So Charlie's version of that same story is Caril was there the whole time and she was directly involved in her family murders, which would be in 1958 insanely hard to believe.
Right.
For police, for the press, for anyone. Like, this very young girl is just going to stand by.
Totally. And this timeline, too, doesn't really make sense. They invited him over while she was still at school. He came, like, right before she got home from school normally. It's almost like it doesn't add up.
It's tough to imagine, but it is like, having heard some of the stories that we've heard at this point, we know coercion is often involved when one person is very young.
Right.
So even if she was there, it is very difficult to imagine that Caril participated in her family's murders, especially her baby sister's murder.
Who she adored.
Yeah. Or at least that there was no threat or coercion involved.
Yeah.
That she was a willing participant.
Yeah.
So that part of the story has been examined and analyzed and debated for more than half a century. And to this day, we just don't know the truth of what happened. What we do know is that Charlie and Caril remain in the house after those murders for 6 days.
Wow.
And the Bartlett's friends and family realize something is up pretty quickly because, of course, nobody sees or hears from the parents or the baby. When anyone stops by to check in on their whereabouts, Caril, seemingly distressed, always just comes out of the house and just begs them to go away. Eventually, a note goes up on their front door saying everyone inside has the flu and just please leave us alone. And then on January 27th, which is 6 days after the murders, Caril's grandmother stops by. She's incredibly worried about her daughter and her grandchildren, and she begs to be let inside. Caril asks her to leave, and the grandmother is so unnerved by that she loudly announces from the front steps she is going to call the police. And when she then finally does leave, Charlie and Caril get into Charlie's truck. They flee, their only plan being get away from the possible police that might be coming.
And if we believe her, we think that she is cooperating and not running away or calling for help because she thinks that her family's being held hostage still.
Yes. So Caril's grandmother wasn't bluffing. She does call the Lincoln police. When they show up to the Bartlett home for a wellness check, the officers go inside, they find the house empty, and they basically convince themselves that the whole family just left.
That tells me, too, that, like, there wasn't a bloody scene.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
Because you're like, well, will she have seen the gunshot?
Yeah.
You know, carnage. if they didn't see it, she probably hadn't seen it either.
Yes, if she was in that house, she's worried that they're being held and she wants to keep them alive.
Yeah, because I was like, didn't she see the like blood spatter or anything? No, maybe there wasn't any.
He did it outside somehow. Yeah. Well, what happens is later that same day, Charlie's brother showed up because he's also worried. Mm-hmm. And he does what the cops failed to do, which is he searches the entire property. And when he does, just beyond the house, he finds the bodies of Marion, Velda, and Betty Ann Bartlett. So now the police spring into action and they start the search for Charlie and Caril, who are, of course, long gone. As Charlie and Caril drove out of Lincoln, Charlie gets his truck serviced at a local body shop. And at one point, he leaves Caril in the truck as he goes to the restroom. She writes a note that says, quote, "Help police, do not ignore." But she doesn't get the chance to give it to anybody, so she puts it back in her pocket. When Charlie gets back into the truck, he drives them about 20 miles outside of Lincoln to the small town of Bennett, where he pulls up onto a muddy drive that leads to a farmhouse. The farmer who lives there is an old family friend of the Starkweathers named August Meyer, and he's 70 years old. And on the way up this kind of muddy driveway, Charlie's truck gets stuck in the mud, and he and Caril have to get out and walk. So when they get to the farmhouse, they knock on the door. August opens the door, and he's happy to see Charlie. Mm-hmm. He has no idea what happened back in Lincoln. All he knows is that this family friend is there just asking for help to get his truck out of the mud. Mm-hmm. So according to Caril, Charlie then pulls out a gun and shoots August in the head, completely unprovoked. Mm-hmm. Charlie will later claim that he killed August in self-defense.
Okay.
Yeah. So now August is dead. The couple enters the farmhouse. Caril stays in the kitchen while Charlie ransacks every room. They then head back down the road. They get the truck out of the mud with the help of an oblivious driver who just happens to be passing by. And they let him go. Like, that's just like, help me get this out. Yeah. One of the luckiest people
seriously
in the area. Charlie then drives back up to August's farmhouse, and he and Caril plan on staying the night, but they're both so on edge with everything that's happened that they convince themselves that somehow somebody got into the house while they were down trying to get the truck unstuck from the mud. Mm-hmm. And it's not true, but they're so paranoid that they decide to leave and just keep driving instead of staying in the house that night. Then they get the truck stuck in the mud for a second time.
Dude.
Now it's 6:30 at night. It's getting dark. It's freezing outside. They wind up ditching that truck out of pure desperation and just walking along the road, hoping someone will pass by. And sadly, around 7:30 p.m., two local teenagers drive by and offer Charlie and Caril a ride. Mm. They are 17-year-old Robert Jensen and 16-year-old Caril King, and they're on a date. Mm. I'll call her Caril K from the rest of this because we already have a Caril in the story. So right after Charlie and Caril get into the car, Charlie pulls out his gun and tells Robert to drive back toward August Meyer's farm. He then tells him to pull over, and Charlie takes Robert and Caril K, walks them toward an abandoned storm cellar that they had passed earlier that day. Caril will maintain that she stayed behind in Robert Jensen's car, unaware of where Charlie was taking this couple or what he planned to do with them. From here, it's believed Charlie shoots and kills Robert near the storm cellar before attempting to rape Caril K, but she fights him off. He murders her. Charlie will try to claim that his Caril was directly involved in these murders, and in fact, Caril is the person who murdered Caril K. Mm-hmm. What we know for certain is that Charlie and Caril eventually flee in Robert's car, and they head out of the area. And as they do, Caril tosses some of Robert's school books out the window. This is kind of an infamous shot from the movie Badlands, because it's this carefree, fuck it all, we're just doing this thing. And it's presented in that movie as this kind of now they're a duo.
Yeah.
But she will later say she threw those books out of the car to give the police a lead.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense to me. So they wind up heading back toward Lincoln. And at one point, they even pass by Caril's family home. Mm. Charlie is convinced that no one is going to spot them in Robert's car. And when they get tired, they pull off the road and they sleep in that same car. So the next morning, January 28th, it's around 8 a.m. So it's the morning after those 3 murders in Bennett. They're back in Lincoln, and Charlie's driving around looking for a place where he and Caril can hide. Eventually, he decides on a mansion he'd seen working as a garbage man, which belongs to the Ward family. They're a family that's very high up in Lincoln society, Lincoln, Nebraska society.
Oh, yeah.
So Charlie pulls into the driveway and gets out with his gun. He enters the house. He basically home invades these people. And he instructs 46-year-old Clara Ward and her maid, 51-year-old Lillian Fensel, to do as he says. At the time, Clara's husband, 47-year-old C. Lauer Ward, is actually at a meeting with the Nebraska governor, who's a good friend of his. And ironically, at that meeting, the men discuss the Bartlett family murders because it's the talk of Lincoln.
Right.
As it would be.
Yeah.
So around this time, over in Bennett, police find Charlie's truck stuck in the mud near the Meyer farm, and officers surround that farmhouse thinking the couple is hiding out inside. They then find August's dead body on the property, but they do not find, of course, Charlie or Caril. And basically at the same time, Robert Jensen and Carol King's bodies are found by a local farmer who had heard gunshots the night before and decided the next morning to go search and see what was going on. So police don't realize that Charlie and Caril are back in Lincoln, or, of course, that they're hiding out in the Ward's mansion.
Yeah.
But they are now holding Clara and Lillian hostage. The women end up passing the morning by cleaning and basically serving Charlie breakfast, which is kind of a pleasant way to spend the morning. And you would never know that afternoon, Clara and Lillian will be stabbed to death. Again, Charlie and Caril's stories differ. Caril claims Charlie killed both women on his own. Charlie says that Caril helped him kill Clara. Around 6 p.m., when C. Lauer Ward, the husband, comes home, Charlie ambushes him, pushes him down the stairs, grabs his gun, and shoots him. So then Charlie gets some black shoe polish and dyes his hair. Caril reportedly helps him do this. Around 7 o'clock, the couple hit the road again, this time in the Ward's Packard. But before they leave, Charlie and Caril read that day's newspaper, and there is an article about Caril's family being murdered. They leave this newspaper behind, but it has big holes cut out of it where photos of Charlie, Caril, and Caril's family had been printed. Mm-hmm. And these clippings will later be found on the couple. So the next day, Wednesday, January 29th, is when the Ward household are discovered dead, when a friend stops by to check in on the family. So the police quickly link all of those murders to Charlie Starkweather, and at this point, they're not sure Caril is even still alive. And when they do link all of that, reporters are right there with them. They've been diligently covering the investigation on the radio and the evening news. They are running updates every day in the papers. So the public that's been watching this coverage breathlessly now erupts into a full-blown panic.
Yeah.
Every hardware store in the Lincoln area sells out of guns, ammunition, and knives. Locals are forming posses, and they're sitting up on their own roofs, hoping that they see Charlie Starkweather and are able to shoot and kill him before he gets to their house.
It's terrifying.
Insane. According to the Nebraska State Historical Society, quote, thousands of Lincoln residents open their garage doors and leave the keys to their cars readily accessible so that if Charlie Starkweather comes by, he can just take the car and go.
Yeah.
By 1 o'clock that Wednesday, Charlie and Caril make it 500 miles away to Douglas, Wyoming. So by now, the news of their crime spree has spread across the Midwest. They use the car's radio to follow along, and this is how they learn that a reporter has now identified the Ward's Packard as their getaway vehicle. So Charlie knows he has to switch cars again. He pulls onto a back road, and eventually he comes across a Buick parked on the roadside. He and Caril figure that they're going to ditch the Ward's car and drive off in the Buick, but its owner, 37-year-old traveling shoe salesman named Merle Collison, is sleeping inside that Buick. Mm. Charlie shoots him through the car window 9 times.
Aye.
Charlie will later claim Caril is the one who murdered Merle after Charlie's gun jammed, which Caril, of course, denies. Shortly after Merle is murdered, a driver named Joe Sprinkle passes and stops when he sees 2 cars on the roadside. He thinks maybe there's car trouble going on that he could help with, which of course is true, because it turns out that Merle's car has its parking brake activated and Charlie's never dealt with a parking brake before, so he thinks he can't make the car go.
Oh, dear.
Yes. So Charlie tells Joe that he needs help turning the brake off and then brandishes his gun. Joe suddenly now has a weapon pointed at him, notices Caril is sobbing in the backseat of Merle's car. Then he sees Merle's dead body in the car's front seat. So he instinctively grabs Charlie's gun. The two fight over it for several minutes.
Jesus.
Right there in the highway before a local deputy sheriff named William Romer drives basically into their brawl. When Caril sees Romer coming, she jumps out of the back seat of the Buick into his cop car, sobbing and screaming, "It's Starkweather, he's going to kill me."
See, this is the moment that I can't get past if you're going to try to blame her in any way, right? But people do. Okay, come on.
Well, completely, because this is like, if she is screaming and sobbing, then it's been against her will this entire time.
Right.
And that witness saying she's crying in the back seat.
Right. If she didn't start crying until the cop came,
yes,
and that's like a show.
Yes.
But if she was doing it and the witness says so beforehand, it's like,
yes,
it says a lot.
Right. She couldn't have been planning a like, well, if this guy lives, I have to make sure, like, because that's not what's been happening.
Right.
Yeah. Also, I always think, like, people, when they lie, do a lot of matchy things where it's just kind of like the Sherry Papini thing where it's like an old lady with long hair and a young lady with short hair.
Right.
Like, people do a thing where their imagination, if limited, really gives them away in lying. So, yeah, I think you'd have to be masterful to kind of do that and be convincing.
And she's a young girl from a small town. I highly doubt that she has his capabilities.
So the second Charlie sees the sheriff, he throws himself into the ward's Packard, and Joe Sprinkle takes cover in a ditch thinking there's going to be a gunfight. And that's when Charlie hits the gas, and then he's chased by Deputy Sheriff Romer and two other patrol cars in a high-speed chase through the Badlands where they top speeds of 120 miles an hour.
Oh, my God.
In old cars.
Yeah.
This chase goes on for about 20 minutes, and then one of the officers fires a shot that shatters Charlie's windshield and sends glass shards into his face, and they cut his ear. It is not a serious wound, but the officers will later say Charlie, quote, thought he was bleeding to death. That's why he stopped. So when he's arrested, Charlie does not hold back. He confesses to every murder. He goes all the way back to the gas station attendant, Robert Colvert. Caril's also taken into custody, and she's interrogated for hours. She ultimately gives a statement that's 166 pages long.
Oh, my God.
It's filled with incriminating information about her involvement in the crimes. But she is 14 years old. Mm-hmm. She has no lawyer. She has no parents.
Does she know her family's dead yet? Because they tell her when she gets to the police station, right?
I believe so. I'm not sure specifically when she's told, but she does start screaming for her dead mother that night and refuses to let anyone near her and ultimately has to be sedated.
Right.
So she is informed, but I think it takes place at the police station.
Okay.
Yeah. During her trial, Caril insists that Charlie was the only person who committed any of these murders, and she maintains she believed Charlie was holding her hostage under the threat of killing her family if she didn't obey him. That suggests she believed her family was alive the entire time.
Yeah.
The prosecution points out that the newspaper clippings she and Charlie took from the ward's house explicitly reported that her mom, dad, and sister were dead. And they did cut the pictures out. So that means that either he did it and didn't show her.
Right.
Which is possible because that's why you would cut those pictures out.
Yeah, that one's harder.
Hard to say. In May 1958, Charlie Starkweather is sentenced to death after being convicted for the murder of Robert Jensen, which is the only case he's tried for. He dies in the electric chair a year later when he's 20 years old. Jeez. He couldn't even drink.
Oh, my God.
He declines to give any last words. Caril Fugate, meanwhile, is handed a life sentence for her role in Robert Jensen's murder. She is the youngest person to receive a first-degree murder conviction at the time. To this day, her role in the case is seen as very complicated and thorny, with many people believing that she is as guilty as Charles Starkweather. Mm-hmm. Although over the years, other people have come to see Caril as a true victim who was forced to participate in this crime spree by a man who was her stalker, was her abuser, and basically stunned her into compliance after murdering her whole family.
That just seems more reasonable. Like the idea that these two people found each other and were both just on a killing spree together, and she's 14, and it's just, what makes more sense?
Right.
You know what I mean? I know that exists. That's happened before in life, but I just can't see that happening in this story. I don't see it here.
Yeah, I agree completely, especially with like all the things that we've talked about where it's like, it's not like they fell in love and dated and then like 3 years later he snapped something.
And like the parents were going to keep them apart. Like she didn't want to be with him to begin with.
No, she was hiding from him in the bathroom. Yeah. Her agency and autonomy is completely gone from the beginning of this relationship.
Right.
So as author Harry McLean has said, quote, the idea that someone could be so traumatized that they would be incapable of exercising free will in subsequent traumatic situations, that didn't exist back then. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whereas now we've seen it, we've been able to talk about it. There's plenty of examples.
Yeah.
So Caril begins her sentence at 15 years old, and she spends the next 17 years behind bars serving as a model prisoner.
Right.
Because of her sterling prison record, she's paroled in 1976 at the age of 32.
Wow.
I mean, if she was a part of that, there would have been problems.
Yeah. Yeah. And nowadays, when you're convicted as a minor, you don't spend the rest of your life. I hear you. Like,
I just think it would have been like, then she was in some fights and she had to get put over here. It wouldn't have been like somebody who's just...
Yeah. But we've talked about real monsters being model prisoners before.
Oh, that's true, because Judy Buonanno, the Black Widow killer, who killed every man in her life, was everyone's grandma in prison.
Right. I think prison works for some people.
Yeah, that's true.
But I agree, but I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, very true. Well, because if the possibility that she was as manipulative as the kind of girl who could run out of that car crying, going, please save me, then she would be playing, again, she would just be playing it to her benefit.
Totally.
So when she gets out of prison, she moves to Michigan, where she lives a mostly quiet life under a new name, working in healthcare, and as a nanny to 2 children who adore her. Truly starts over.
Wow.
In the middle of her life. Over the years, Caril has continued to insist that she was an unwitting participant in the murder spree. She's now around 80 years old, and she hopes to someday have her name cleared with a full pardon.
Wow.
If she truly is a victim of this abusive relationship, I mean...
What a tragedy.
What a tragedy if that never happens for her.
Yeah. But how can you prove it, aside from we just have to believe her or not believe her?
Right.
I think that the evidence overwhelmingly points to her not being a willing participant.
No.
But that's just our big fat opinion.
That's just what we believe.
Right.
We believe her.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the story of the 1958 crime spree of Charlie Starkweather and Caril Fugate that terrorized the Midwest.
Wow. Great job. I can't believe we haven't covered that.
There's so many of these stories that, like, especially in the early days, we used to talk at the beginning about other true crime things and then get into it.
Yeah.
So we've definitely talked about it.
That's crazy.
And the movie Badlands is so gorgeous. Just to watch a movie.
I can't believe when I was like 13, the movie Natural Born Killers was just an okay movie for us to watch. Yeah. It's so disturbing.
It's so disturbing.
Like, you would never show a teenager that now.
No.
It's so fucked up.
It was a very toxic time back then.
Yeah. And
very
it was
toxic.
Our favorite movie. It wasn't just like, oh, that's disturbing. We loved it. We thought it was so romantic and beautiful and poetic and real. It's like, this is fucking garbage.
I wonder if Tarantino pitched Natural Born Killers as like, let's do the, whenever it was, 90s or early 2000s, let's revamp Badlands and make it now and modern and sexy and neon or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was early 90s.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's so disturbing.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it.
Well, there it is.
Good job.
Thank you. This episode is supported by FX's The Shards, a seductive drama from executive producer Ryan Murphy.
Set in 1980s Los Angeles, the series follows a group of glamorous, deeply entangled high school seniors drawn into a life of wealth, beauty, parties, and excess.
At its center is Brett, whose reality begins to unravel when the arrival of a new student coincides with a series of mysterious murders. FX's The Shards, now streaming on Hulu.
Goodbye.
Summer means a whole new world for your feet.
They're walking more, sweating more, and going barefoot all day long.
For summer feet that need real comfort, there's Bombas.
Bombas has a whole line of sport-specific socks for golf, yoga, the gym, and every kind of runner.
They also make soft, supportive compression socks that are especially great for summer travel.
Bombas sandals and slides are made from super lightweight, cushy, waterproof EVA foam, so they feel incredibly comfortable.
And the best part? For every item you buy, Bombas donates an essential clothing item to someone facing housing insecurity, with over 200 million donations and counting.
I wore my Bombas compression socks on the plane ride to and from Italy. And listen, I'm a girl of a certain age at this point. It needs to be done. And I felt so comfy and so secure with my cute little Bombas socks.
So head over to bombas.com/MFM and use code MFM for 20% off your first purchase.
That's BOMBAS.com/MFM, code MFM at checkout.
Goodbye. Capture your favorite summer feeling with Pandora Jewelry.
Discover a collection inspired by the sunshine, freedom, and unforgettable moments that make the season so special.
Whether you're planning a weekend getaway, gathering with friends, or simply soaking up every sunny day, Pandora Jewelry offers meaningful pieces designed to celebrate your unique story.
From sun-kissed metals that catch the light beautifully to personalized pieces ready to be engraved with your summer mantra, every detail is crafted to help you express yourself with confidence and style.
Explore charms, bracelets, rings, necklaces, and more, thoughtfully designed to complement every adventure and occasion.
Each design moves with you, from beach days and road trips to rooftop dinners, golden nights, and every memory in between.
Layer your favorite looks, mark life's meaningful moments, and create lasting reminders of a season you'll never want to forget.
Find the pieces that reflect who you are and where this summer takes you.
Shop Pandora Jewelry's new summer collection in-store or online at pandora.net and let your summer unfold.
Goodbye. Great job.
Oh, thanks.
My turn. This is another story that's like a little frustrating. So
Perfect.
Sorry about that.
The perfect pair.
Right. We're going to Japan today. Beautiful Japan. And in Japan, although they've become much more rare, it is one of only 2 G7 countries that has the death penalty. Guess what the other one is?
America.
That's right. It's one of Japan's longest legal battles. It's very famous there. And where there are people sentenced to death, there are usually also people who have been wrongfully convicted, as we know. This is the story of Japan's longest-serving death row inmate and the decades-long fight for his freedom. This is the story of Iwao Hakamata. The main sources for the story are reporting by the Japanese newspaper, the Asahi Shimbun. It translates to the Daily Sun, and the rest can be found in our show notes. So I'm going to do my best with these pronunciations.
Oh, yeah.
So apologies in advance. Okay, so it's 1966, and we're in Shizuoka, Japan.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Thank you. A coastal city about 2 hours southeast of Tokyo. You've never been to Japan, right?
No, never been.
God, someday. So this guy, Iwao Hakamata, is a 30-year-old retired boxer, and he works in a miso factory. The factory is owned by a man named Fujita Hashimoto, who's 41, and Iwao also does work in the Hashimoto family home, and he lives in the home with them. Fujiyo's wife is named Chieko, and the couple have 2 teenage children, a daughter named Fujiko and a son named Masaishiru. So at about 2 a.m. in the morning on June 30th, 1966, neighbors notice a fire in one of the upstairs rooms in the Hashimoto house. When firefighters report to the scene, they find Iwao working to put out the fire. As they're doing this, Iwao and the firefighters discover the bodies of the entire Hashimoto family, the husband, wife, and 2 teenagers, and discover that they had each been killed before the fire was started. Each member of the family had been stabbed multiple times.
Oh, God.
It's awful. The house is badly burned. It smells heavily of gasoline. And investigators recover a pair of pajamas from Iwao's room. It sounds like he was not wearing them when the firefighters found him, though this detail later becomes a little muddy. Investigators say the pajamas have a very small blood stain on them. And it's later discovered that about 80,000 yen has been taken from the house, which in today's money, I'm not going to make you guess, would be about $200 US. Some say 550, but just not a lot of money to brutally murder an entire family over.
Yeah.
Initially, investigators say they don't know if this crime was committed by one person or more than one person, but because 4 different people were each stabbed multiple times and neighbors didn't hear anything, even though they were pretty close, some people think it had to be done by multiple attackers, which, I mean, that's not totally true. Look at the BTK killer. It's just a matter of power, overpowering.
Yeah, planning and power and...
Planning, fear, overpowering, yeah.
And also if it was everybody stabbed multiple times, that feels to me like an emotional attack, right?
Yeah, it's like not like a hit where it would be clean and the children probably wouldn't be involved, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so none of the neighbors report hearing the attack, although one neighbor does report hearing a scream. It's unclear exactly how, but suspicion winds up falling on Iwao. It's possible that this is because there's already some prejudice against him because of his history as a boxer, which is frowned upon in Japan by some people, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Additionally, Iwao is one of the few employees of the factory that's not originally from that small area. So he's from a different city called Hamamatsu. And so maybe because of that, he's not trusted.
Yeah.
Either way, Iwao is arrested and is then subject to 20 days of interrogation without a lawyer present. The interrogations are about 12 hours each day. He's not given access to a bathroom. He's beaten on multiple occasions. And it's only at the end of these 20 days of the interrogation that Iwao finally confesses to the murder, which we all know, a 20-day, 12-hour-a-day beating.
That's coercion in any country.
You can't believe that confession anymore.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Initially, this confession is the only evidence against him. But a year and a half after Iwao's arrest, shortly before his trial is scheduled to begin, investigators change their story about these pajamas and say they have recovered a set of clothing, which they claim to be Iwao's, that he had worn during the murders. They find it at the miso factory in a miso tank. So the clothes have red blood stains on them, despite supposedly having sat in a tank of fermenting miso for over a year. That's kind of hard to believe that they would have these red stains on them to begin with, right? Yeah. Especially when you're like, he was wearing these pajamas. We found blood on the pajamas. Never mind. It's just absurd.
Yeah.
Iwao's case goes to trial in 1967. During the trial, Iwao says the recovered clothes look like his, but they're the wrong size. Also, he has written his name in all his clothes to identify them for the laundry service he uses. He puts the clothes on during the trial, and it's clear that they are too small for him. They don't fit.
Yeah.
Throughout the process, Iwao, though, shows unshakable faith in the judicial system. He's like, there's no way they can convict me. This is clearly bad evidence. There's no evidence that I did this. He just believes in this legal system. And in that Japanese legal system at the time, there's no jury. That's since changed. But then 3 judges would vote to decide on a verdict. The proceedings are secret at the time, but we now know that 2 of the judges voted to convict and 1 voted to acquit. And so in 1968, at the age of 32, with just that flimsy evidence, Iwao is pronounced guilty and he's sentenced to death. And 6 months after the conviction, one of the judges, and we now know that it's the one who wanted to acquit, he retires from the bar. I think he's a little bit like, fuck this.
That's the last I want my hands in something like this.
Right. So both of Iwao's parents pass away in the immediate months following his conviction. So this is rough. Death row inmates in Japan at the time are always kept in solitary confinement.
My God.
And a hallmark of the Japanese penal system is that death row inmates have no idea when they are scheduled to be executed. So they wake up in the morning and between 8 a.m. and 8:30, they'll be told whether or not they're being put to death. So he's got solitary confinement and every morning wakes up thinking this could be it. So that's going to drive you a little mad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Another hallmark of the Japanese legal system is that very few convictions are ever reviewed. There's no appeals going on. Yeah. And those reviews can take decades. And this is what happens to Iwao. Over the coming decades, he makes multiple appeals. Each one moves at a grindingly slow pace before it's ultimately denied. In 1973, Iwao writes, quote, "I'm a prisoner on death row who has been wrongfully convicted. I am forced to live by enduring grief permeating all of my body. My heart sometimes grows cold beyond description out of unending fear of the unknown execution. My whole body trembles as if being hit by cold winter blasts," end quote. So, not cool.
Horrifying, but also a very accurate description of like constant stress
and fear. Yeah.
Where you're just like, it's like these waves of physical pain and then just like, I'm going to shut down now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over the years he spends in solitary confinement, he writes frequent letters to his older sister, a woman named Hideko Hakamata. She is like his biggest champion, and she notices a distinct change in him as the years go by, of course. She says that his letters eventually descend into gibberish the longer he spends in prison. Fast forward to the 2000s. Amnesty International takes on Iwao's case, and it becomes much more famous both in Japan and abroad. And in fact, Reuben Carter, a.k.a. the Hurricane from the Bob Dylan song, This is the Story of a Hurricane.
Also, that movie, man, that is a good movie.
Right, with Denzel, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he was also a wrongfully convicted boxer. And so he takes on he starts speaking out on the case as well.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty incredible.
Yes, that's right.
He had been wrongfully convicted and imprisoned for murder. He had spent 18 years and 4 months in prison. So he starts speaking out about the case as well.
Wow.
So it gets that attention it needs. Then the Japanese Professional Boxing Association organizes a special charity fight to raise money for Iwao's defense. The actor Jeremy Irons, who's a supporter of Amnesty International, also speaks out on behalf of Iwao. All the while, Hideko is the go-between, advocating for her brother, fighting for his release, and acting as his voice in the outside world. At this point, Iwao and Hideko are in their 70s. So this has been
his whole life.
His whole life.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so 2007, the judge who retired after convicting Iwao, a man named Norimichi Kumamoto, tells the press that he had not believed that Iwao was guilty. I mean, this has to be unprecedented, him coming forward with this.
Right.
And he had been the one to vote against the other two judges. And speaking out comes at a very high personal cost for Norimichi. It's considered very taboo for a judge to reveal what happened in their closed-door voting process. But he stands firm and says, quote, "I'm glad I spoke up. I wish I had said it earlier, and maybe something might have changed," end quote. So Norimichi joins the growing movement to secure a new trial for Iwao. This movement also sheds light on problems in the Japanese criminal justice system, the secretiveness of both investigations and the judicial process, the impunity with which the police are able to operate, and the relative frequency of death sentences at the time. At the time Iwao was arrested, and for decades after, Japanese convictions were heavily reliant on confessions, no matter what interrogation methods are used. And prosecutors had a conviction rate of close to 100%.
Wow.
Which is not, that just looks bad.
That's just not real.
No. Yeah. It's not realistic.
Yeah.
Death sentences have become much rarer in Japan in the past 20 years. But as I said, Japan and the United States are the only two of the G7 countries that still have the death penalty. So in 2008, Japan begins introducing a jury system into its criminal trials. Now decisions are made by that same panel of 3 judges, but also with 6 people who are called lay judges, and they serve a similar function to an American jury. In 2014, when Iwao was 78 years old, his lawyers finally managed to get the blood on the clothes DNA tested. The blood was already known not to match any of the victims, and the DNA also does not match Iwao's. He's finally granted a retrial, and he's released from prison. He had been on death row for 46 years.
Fuck. And in solitary for that long?
Yeah. So he's the longest serving death row inmate ever.
Wow.
I know. He's technically still considered to be on death row, but he's serving his sentence at home due to his declining health. And at this point, Iwao is possibly showing signs of dementia, and he doesn't believe reporters when they tell him he's being granted a new trial. I mean, it's his entire life. He's just completely given up.
Right. Why would it change?
Iwao goes to live with his sister Hideko, who has been fighting tirelessly for his release for decades. At this point, Hideko is about 80 years old herself. As both siblings get older, a group of volunteers from the neighborhood help both of them with their tasks of daily living. And she says that her brother is always anxious around strangers. So after years of back and forth in the legal system, Iwao is finally retried in 2024 at the age of 88.
Oh, my God.
This makes his retrial only the 5th in Japan's post-war history.
Whoa.
Yeah, 5 since 45. His lawyers present the evidence of his coerced confession, the DNA evidence, and also some additional evidence. They recreate the storage of bloodstained clothes in a miso tank for a year and a half. After a short time in the miso, the blood stains turn black because of the chemical reactions. It's just basically showing that there's no way that this was real.
Yeah.
At the end of his trial, Iwao's conviction is overturned. He had been wrongfully convicted for 56 years. Hideko says, quote, "When the judge said that the defendant is not guilty in court, the judge's voice sounded divine. I was so moved and happy that I burst into tears," end quote. Iwao was awarded the equivalent of $1.4 million by the Japanese government, which is basically $85 for each day he spent wrongfully in prison. Yeah.
God.
It's rough. And the current head of the Shizuoka police also visits Iwao to formally apologize to him. Iwao is now 89 years old and Hideko is 92. They still live together. Hideko says that her brother's very quiet and mostly lives in his own world, but she's overjoyed that his nightmare is finally over, and she continues to speak out against the death penalty. She says, quote, "I used to accept the death penalty without giving it much thought, but after what happened with Iwao, I became against the death penalty. It is a crime for a human being to kill another human being, no matter what the government says," end quote. The murder of the Hashimoto family, meanwhile, has sadly never been solved, and there's really no meaningful work that's been done on it. So it's just seems like a cold case at this point. I couldn't find anything.
So like basically all the work went into trying to get this person convicted and just like making it all go away.
Right. And that's the news. If you look up this case of this family being murdered, you find this story.
God.
I know.
And there's someone out there that did it.
Yeah.
And like for a reason that they just didn't find.
Yeah.
So frustrating about these goddamn cases.
I know. And that is the story of the exoneration of Iwao Hakamata, Japan's longest-serving death row prisoner.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so moving
I
that
know.
the hurricane got in there to fight.
I know.
God.
Yeah. And he's just an old man now.
Yeah.
I wonder who did it. Like, that's the thing I want to know so bad, you know?
Yeah. How do we fix that? How do we on this podcast? We who know nothing of the justice system.
Yeah.
But like, how does that get fixed in the future? That has to get fixed in the future.
I think that's why we talk about it.
Yeah.
Because so many people, I mean, the whole thing of like true crime being exploitative and being all these things, it's like, that's not the point. The point is like bringing attention to these miscarriages of justice, to victims that don't have their name, for cold cases that are just completely being ignored.
Yep.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, I think it is. You're right. It's kind of the pointing back to like, well, there is a public responsibility if this is your community, if these are your people.
Right.
And there are so many amazing stories like that where it's like the people who it happened near them or to someone they know or to their own family. So they just dedicate their lives to doing something about it.
Right.
And then there are people who are dedicating their lives even though they don't know people. But I don't know. It's like all these realizations that everyone's having right now about like the industrial prison complex on this planet.
Yeah.
The nightmare.
You have to point at it if you want it to be seen. You can't look away.
Right.
Unfortunately.
And you can't look just where the man wants you to look.
Right.
Other people have to point.
Definitely. And we are not the man.
We swear.
We never have been and we never will be.
Great job.
Thank you.
That's an interesting story.
Right?
You took me all the way to Japan to frustrate me about this. You're like, hey, guess what? Injustice is everywhere.
I know. And it's like, this is a cold case, but look over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
But I mean, amazing if in 3 years you're like, wait, guess what?
Got solved.
They found it. They found him.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
This episode is supported by FX's The Shards, a seductive drama from executive producer Ryan Murphy.
Set in 1980s Los Angeles, the series follows a group of glamorous, deeply entangled high school seniors drawn into a life of wealth, beauty, parties, and excess.
At its center is Brett, whose reality begins to unravel when the arrival of a new student coincides with a series of mysterious murders. FX's The Shards, now streaming on Hulu.
Goodbye.
Capture your favorite summer feeling with Pandora Jewelry.
Discover a collection inspired by the sunshine, freedom, and unforgettable moments that make the season so special.
Whether you're planning a weekend getaway, gathering with friends, or simply soaking up every sunny day, Pandora Jewelry offers meaningful pieces designed to celebrate your unique story.
From sun-kissed metals that catch the light beautifully to personalized pieces ready to be engraved with your summer mantra, every detail is crafted to help you express yourself with confidence and style.
Explore charms, bracelets, rings, necklaces, and more, thoughtfully designed to complement every adventure and occasion.
Each design moves with you, from beach days and road trips to rooftop dinners, golden nights, and every memory in between.
Layer your favorite looks, mark life's meaningful moments, and create lasting reminders of a season you'll never want to forget.
Find the pieces that reflect who you are and where this summer takes you.
Shop Pandora Jewelry's new summer collection in-store or online at pandora.net and let your summer unfold.
Goodbye. This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace.
Every successful small business starts with someone saying, I wonder if people would actually buy this.
Squarespace gives you everything you need to find out.
From consultations to events and experiences, you can showcase your skills with a customizable website designed to attract clients and grow your business.
With Squarespace's collection of cutting-edge design tools, anyone can build a beautiful, professional online presence that perfectly fits their brand or business.
Get paid on time with professional invoices and online payments. Plus, streamline your workflow with built-in appointment scheduling and email marketing tools.
Head to squarespace.com/murder for a free trial.
And when you're ready to launch, use offer code MURDER to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Goodbye.
It's yet another installment of Honking Hoorays presented by Hyundai.
Get it? We're in a car, honking.
Okay, you want to go first?
Sure. Okay, this is from our email. It says, hey ladies, my hooray is after finalizing my divorce yesterday, I found my first ever therapist today.
Hey.
That's all. That's the whole email. Love you, Haley.
Haley, you within 24 hours, you nailed it.
Epic. Big steps.
Incredible job. Okay, here's my first one, also from email. The subject line is, this year has been a doozy. Agreed. Okay, so it starts. I left an 8+ year relationship at the start of the year, became a first-time homeowner, and am preparing to live alone for the first time ever at the age of 36. All of this while working a full-time job, part-time job, and working toward my first degree.
Wow. I feel lazy.
This semester has been a real challenge, but I just submitted my final exam and managed to maintain a 4.0 and keep my status on the dean's list.
What?
And then in all caps it says hooray, and then it just says CJ. CJ,
what?
How are you that smart and together?
Yeah.
And in a doozy year, that's what you can achieve.
Good job.
Incredible. Everybody aim for CJ level.
Okay, it's from our email. It says, hey, and hooray. My sweet baby Owen was born with multiple, severe, and life-threatening congenital heart defects. Well, this warrior just turned 6 months old. He's battled more in his short life than most of us will ever face, and he smiles through it, all while sucking his toes. Docs didn't think there was much they could do, but he has fought since the moment he was born. He'll undergo his second open heart surgery this summer. You ladies have been with me since junior year of college in 2016. You've helped me through finals, big moves, pandemic Zoom meetings, wedding planning, pregnancy, and now learning to be a heart mom. I love you both and the whole Exactly Right team, Cassandra B.
Wow.
I know.
Owen's a fighter.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Thank you, Cassandra.
Yes. Stay strong. Okay, this email says, hello. My hooray is, at the ripe old age of 54.8 years old, I will graduate with my Doctor of Nursing practice degree from Vanderbilt University.
Holy.
So many people are so, smart and collegey that listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
Guys, what are you doing?
Two kind of lazy people.
I mean, They're like, I'm going to be better than that. Okay, as a DNP, we are considered the top 1% of nursing in the U.S.
Wow.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
However, I must toot my own horn and take this one step further. Usually nurse practitioners have 1, maybe 2 specialties. I have 4 specialty certifications: acute care, emergency, family, and women's health. And just 10 days after graduation, I will start my journey towards my midwifery certification. With our country not recognizing women for our worth, we need all the strong women providers we can get. That's very true.
God.
Thank you for all of your support and helping us smile through these crazy times. Much love to y'all, and remember, no one got here without the help of a woman. Tammy.
These are amazing.
Incredible, Tammy.
Wow.
So many certifications.
I know.
So many degrees. It's wild.
Yeah.
So we're very proud of you.
Yeah. Thank you. This is from YouTube, my last one. Okay. Hi, ladies. My hooray is that I moved out of my parents' house again at 37, and I'm learning not to sweat all the small things. Your show continues to fill my earballs as I put my new place together between packing and unpacking, building new furniture and decor, and cleaning up after myself. Thank you, ladies, and my favorite human, Chelsea, who not only got me hooked on you lovely gals, but who is also on an amazing glow-up journey of her own to be a badass, independent woman. Hoorays to all of us for staying steady or stubbornly and doggedly determined to keep on keeping on.
Mm-hmm.
Stay sexy, and salute to fellow male feminists. Alex, he, him, his.
Wow, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
A boy showing up in the chat.
I love it. I love using your hooray to shout out someone else.
I know.
That's pretty cool.
Wow, Alex really has it all. Ready? Okay, this next
like
one.
This Hyundai.
Like the Ioniq 5. This is from our email. It says, my hooray is that today, for the first time, I met fellow murderinos, quote unquote, in the wild. I started a new job as a heart transplant coordinator nurse 3 weeks ago.
How is everyone so good and smart?
So weird. While taking a short break today, I made a comment about an old crumple-ass Post-it note that was taped onto a rolling cart full of file folders. I said, cue Karen's old-timey voice, that Post-it note has been there for 25 years. Seconds later, I received a message from a coworker a couple of cubicles down. The message read, can I ask you something weird?
The best question ever.
Long ellipsis, and then it says, do you listen to my favorite murder? God. Before she could finish her sentence, I excitedly wrote back, OMG, yes, are you a murderino too? We simultaneously rolled our chairs backwards out of our cubicles, turning toward each other while squealing.
Aww.
I shouted, I'm a Karen, while she proceeded to tell me that she had listened to the entire podcast from start to finish 3 times.
Oh my God.
Good God.
Oh my God. See someone.
Please.
Get help.
Moments later, a second and third coworker popped out of their respective cubicles to tell me they listened too. What? Oh, hell yeah, we took over this office.
Yeah.
I was over the moon excited to have that murderino connection with not 1, 2, but 3 amazing ladies I share an office with. When you start to tour again, we are already planning to see you in Chicago or Milwaukee or both. So stay sexy and use your old-timey Karen voice whenever you can. You never know when it will lead you to new friends.
Aww.
Megan.
I love that.
That's so awesome.
That's amazing.
It's all the nurses.
Yay.
Everybody in an office.
That is so hooray. You guys, thank you for writing in. Thank you for listening to the honking hoorays. Thank you, Hyundai, for helping us present these honking hoorays to you.
And stay sexy.
And don't get murdered.
Goodbye.
Elvis, do you want a cookie?
This has been an Exactly Right production.
Our senior producers are Alejandra Keck and Molly Smith.
Our editor is Aristotle Acevedo.
This episode was mixed by Liana Scolacci.
Our researchers are Maren McGlashan and Allie Elkin.
Email your hometowns to myfavoritemurder@gmail.com.
Follow the show on Instagram at myfavoritemurder.
Listen to My Favorite Murder on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And now you can watch us on Exactly Right's YouTube page. While you're there, please like and subscribe. Goodbye.
Hey everybody, here's the thing about other home security systems. They're all designed for after the window breaks, after someone's inside, after you get the notification, after the police come. SimpliSafe is the first system designed for before, stopping a break-in before it even begins.
That's right. Unlike traditional security systems that only alert you after a break-in is already underway, SimpliSafe is designed to help prevent the crime before it starts. Their cameras can detect suspicious activity at the perimeter and alert live U.S.-based agents. Then Simply Safe's agents assess the threat, intervene, speak through the camera to scare off the intruders, and call for 911 dispatch.
That's right, and Simply Safe has been protecting your world for 20 years, everybody. So celebrate their anniversary and save 60% on your new Simply Safe system at simplysafe.com/stuff. That's 60% off, you guys, at simplysafe.com/stuff. Plus, when you order, write in our show name and the How Did You Hear About Us survey to let them know that we sent you. Don't forget, there's no safe like Simply Safe.
Vacation planning should feel like a breeze, not a deep dive into countless travel sites searching for the best deal.
With Cheap Caribbean's Budget Beach Finder, you can search every destination and every date all in one search.
You'll save time and money with the Budget Beach Finder.
Say goodbye to endless scrolling and tab hopping, and hello to Budget Beach Bliss at your fingertips.
Go to cheapcaribbean.com to try out the Budget Beach Finder and see just how stress-free vacation planning should be.
Goodbye.
Hello, beautiful. I'm Amy Eric, founder of Madison Reed, a hair color company I named after my daughter. Our prestige salon quality hair color delivers gorgeous, multi-dimensional color and 100% gray coverage. Color at home or visit one of our 95 plus hair color bars nationwide and let our licensed pros do it for you. Visit madison-reed.com and use code podcast20 for 20% off your first order or service. Confident, bold, unstoppable. That's the power of Madison Reed.